Happy Friday. It is time for In This Space. Welcome to another episode. I am your facilitator tonight. You know who I am. I am Apostle Dr. Alicia George, and I am so excited tonight about this show. But what I need you to do is, as you come in, share it out. Share it out to your Facebook friends. Share it out to those that may want to go to YouTube. Listen, isn't it awesome that we have so many ways now of speaking to our audiences? And I am extremely excited about what we're going to speak about tonight because my guest is phenomenal tonight. I just believe that there is so much going on around us and people doing great things that they don't often get the recognition or the credit for. And this particular person, man, I've known him for probably a little over 14 years. And tonight, as we get started, I am just in awe of how God does things because I hadn't seen him in so many years. And then there he was. There he was doing great things and being great the way I always knew him to be. So in this space, your voice belongs here. So I want to invite you to get into the chat, ask questions if you want to. This is a very relaxed space. There's no pretense, no put on, and you all know me. I want God to be glorified in everything I do, everything I say. And sometimes there are times that you just have to prepare yourself for greatness. And tonight, I think greatness is here. So listen, without any further ado tonight, let me bring on this awesome, let me see, he's an entrepreneur, he's a father, he's a grandfather. He just makes things happen. And that's how I met him while he was in the midst of making things happen. So here he is, Justified.
Hey, how you doing, Dr. Apostle?
I am doing great, and I'm so excited that you're here with me tonight. I am just been anticipating this for the last week.
I've been looking forward to it as well.
And so the time is here. Tonight is here. It's Friday night, and on Friday night, people want to wind down. They want to do whatever it is they may want to do. They want to do them. So tonight we're going to do it with them. So listen, let's get started. Let's get started tonight. I'm going to ask you some questions, and a couple of them may put you on the spot, but that's okay.
I love those type of questions because my answer may put you on the spot.
Let's roll with it. Let's roll with it tonight. My first question to you is, I know that your name is Justin Smith, but what does justified mean?
Great question.
Who is justified? Who is justified?
Well, Justified was my, my stage name as a recording artist, and that's what I called myself. And then God gave me a revelation one night. I like to call it Russian roulette, with the Bible, when you just pick it up and just, open up the pages and ask God to show you something. And he took me to the book of Romans chapter 8. And I just kept seeing justified. Yes. And I shall be justified, deemed righteous by faith. And it really resonated, with me. And I kind of looked at it as a Abram to Abraham type of moment, to where, God called me by a new name, and I roll with it.
Wow, we're justified by faith. And listen, faith without works is dead. And one person that put the work in is you. So you're justified when it comes to that.
You better believe it.
Yes. So let's just go back a little bit. I think I've known you probably around 14 years or so. I met you around 14 years ago because it was at the time that I moved my church from Hesperia to Victorville.
Right.
And I met you at that time. And when I met you, you were really deep into promotion of music. Tell me about your past and that place where you were at that time.
Well, I've been in the music business for 25 plus years, and at that time I was still very active as an artist, but I was facilitating kind of as a promoter as well, putting shows together, giving other artists opportunities to perform, and just I started nibbling and dabbling with graphics and creating my own flyers because I used to get tired of waiting for people to produce for me. So I'm like, I got to figure out how to do this myself. But yeah, it was that, music is my thing, throwing concerts. I got pulled into promotion by some other promoters who would always see me out at the Food for Less, selling my CDs out the trunk. And they're like, man, you need to promote events. I'm like, I don't know nothing about that. And, they knew I was always in the streets. You're like, you're out here. Let me give you these flyers. And while you're selling your CDs, pass these out. And if you can get people to come to our events, we'll let you perform and, we'll give you some money off the tickets you can sell. So that was kind of my first experience with promoting events. It was under the Smith Brothers they had a club off of Armagosa called Hollywood Entertainment. And I was their street guy with the flyers, and, I was selling movies and CDs, and they figured I talked to everybody. I might as well pass out some flyers and bring them to their shows. So
what kind of CDs, what kind of artists were you?
Hip hop.
Hip hop artists.
Hip hop.
Okay. And you sold your CDs out of the trunk of your car.
Every day, all day.
The making of an entrepreneur. When we can, I don't use the word hustle too much anymore because I want to really be precise in what God has told me to do. And I think that when you hustle, that you don't accomplish the things that God has assigned you to do. But when you focus on what it is He's told you, that particular hustle will open up the doors for you to go to the places that He's calling you to go to. Yeah. So back then, I remember meeting you. I remember you doing a few things for me as far as promotions with my church and everything. But the one thing you and I talked about a couple of weeks ago was that you were actually the person that created the label that I use on my anointed oils.
That was amazing to see that you're still using that label. And I'm a much better graphic artist now than I was back then. But
yes,
God always gave me the ability to please the customer, because my prayer was always, God, give me their vision so I can produce what it is that they want to see. And I remember, you loved what I did for you. And obviously, because you're still using it all these years later, that was a blessing when you showed me that. It made me laugh because I actually forgot that I did those until you showed me.
I had so many of those labels, and I was getting ready to create a new label for my oils, and the box showed up. The box just showed up. And I said, it's not outdated. This is why I know that vision will take you to places where you don't expect, because this label is still up to date,
right,
and in date as I use it. And I'm like, wow. So we talked about that and realized how far we've come. You just said I'm a much better graphic artist now than I was back then, and that's the process. So what do you think you are much better at now in your life than you were 5 years ago?
Everything is constant growth, because practice makes perfect. And when you continue, to do the same things, you get better at it. It's kind of a natural progression, especially when you're called to do it, right? I'm a better songwriter. I'm a better performer. I'm a better everything that I was doing then that I'm still doing, I'm better at it. Seasoned and tried, and tested through the fire,
Come
and still
on, come
standing.
on,
So,
come on. And why? Because of consistency. And that's
yeah,
one of the things that we have to understand in our lives, that when you're consistent in doing what it is you are called to do, that you will find that you'll get better at it, you'll make better decisions about it, and people will start to really recognize who you are because you're constantly moving forward. So
yeah.
let's talk a little bit about this place. When I met you, you had two beautiful daughters, and I remember sitting down talking to you one day, and you said to me, "I'm raising my daughters by myself because my wife passed away."
Mm.
And I was really shocked because I, I not many men at that time that I knew would take on the responsibility of fatherhood by themselves. Tell me a little bit about that journey with raising your daughters. I saw them a few weeks ago and was totally blown away.
You
I
saw
know
the event.
ready
Yeah,
to
they
go.
grown now.
Yeah, one is getting ready to go to college. The other
Yes.
one is a mom. And so just tell me a little bit about that time in your life.
Um, a lot of people will, suffer loss. My mom and my wife, they passed away 11 months apart from one another. My mom went first, and then, 11 months later, my wife passed. And a lot of people have a tendency to get mad at God or to blame God or just, have this animosity, right? But for me, it was the complete opposite. It's like I trusted him, even when I didn't trust myself, or didn't know. I had no idea. I was a hustler. I was in the streets,
Yes.
selling my albums. I, unemployed, so to speak. No 401ks, no life insurance, no anything. All I had, was God's grace. And me having a good father, I knew I saw the blueprint of what a father does, right? And I couldn't see myself being blessed, letting them go somewhere else, because my mother-in-law was very adamant about wanting to take the girls. You need to let the girls come out here to Alabama. They need a woman. You can't do it. You're too busy with your shows. You won't be able. You won't be able. And I also had three other daughters in that marriage, that came in, part of the package deal.
Yes.
They were 16 at the time, the twins, and I didn't have as much control over what happened with them. She took them, and which probably was maybe the best thing at that time. Just looking at the circumstances, right? So, but she wanted the little ones as well, and I couldn't see God blessing my life to let those girls go away. Like, them as my children. And I said, people were like, well, you can't do it. I said, you're probably right. I can't. But through God, I could do all things. And I'm going to give him a chance first before I listen to what you say. And man, it's been a journey just to get to where we are now. And being that I, was in music, I made a lot of records that talked about that experience, the uncertainty, the fear, the, what's it going to be like? And then to now be outside of that faith and to see that faith has been rewarded. It's like, man, it's like, 12 years later, here we are. And the girls both graduated. They're doing well. They're respectable young women, not perfect kids, but what kid is, right? We have our ups and our downs, but for the most part, God has given me grace to raise two amazing daughters by myself. And didn't go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I didn't take the route of trying to find a replacement as far as a woman. I was very intentional about not letting a woman take advantage of my vulnerability and feeling that I needed them to help with these girls. I got all kind of offers, hey, let me do their hair. You ever need help with their hair? Or well, I come over and cook y'all dinner, and I'm like, I know how to cook, you know what I mean? And if you do their hair, I'm gonna pay you, because I didn't want to fall for or be with a woman because I felt I couldn't raise these kids. I didn't want to be with the wrong woman for the right reason, right? So I just thugged it out and stayed single and mingled. And, if they, I got blessed with a lot of good women friends that were able to assist me in conversation of things that I was dealing with the girls when, if they had a UTI or, just whatever I had. God placed women around me that I could get advice from, or if I need, as they got older, some things young ladies need to hear from a woman versus than their father. So yes. I have friends around that when they was, dealing with boys that I didn't approve of, and I knew the game because I ran the game, you know what I mean? Yes. Sometimes hearing it from a woman helped them. So God have always blessed me with some solid women friends to be able to put the paint where it ain't, you know what I'm saying, and help me out. So
yeah. Well, congratulations. Congratulations, because doing that, I'm sure that your relationship with your daughters and the understanding that you put them first, because that's important, because I don't think you ever got remarried, did you?
No, I got maybe like 4 years into her being gone. I kind of got linked up with the wrong one. You know what I mean? The wrong one for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And I felt like because they were 6 and 8 when she passed, so 4 years later, they were like 10 and 12. And they were at that age where I could kind of leave them home because I raised them right. And Sanaya, the oldest, knew how to cook. They could, they could stay home for a couple hours by themselves, and I could go kind of try to live my life, right? Mm-hmm. And it was error. I felt it was time, but it really wasn't, because me and my daughters, every Friday we were doing daddy-daughter dates, right? We would do the hometown buffet or, Applebee's, BJ's. And that was something that we did those date nights every weekend. And then now those Friday nights were given to somebody else. And I didn't see it so much in the moment, but in time I saw they weren't ready. And they didn't mind when I had multiple friends hanging out, but when it was just that one that I kind of gave attention to, it created some issues, especially with my oldest. She was more like, you forgot about me, you forgot about mom. I'm like, I ain't never forgot about y'all, but I couldn't do nothing but understand, where she was coming from. They lost time.
That's great. I'm glad that you had the relationship with your daughters and the sensitivity to understand and appreciate their feelings, and kind of put yourself on the back burner so that they could be happy. And that's okay. Let me get into this part that I want to talk to you about. What is unity in the community for you?
It's togetherness. It's getting on the same page. It's, instead of being divided by differences, being united by like-mindedness, the things that we can agree on, the things that we have, common thinking towards. If we could come together on those things, we can accomplish a whole lot. So I've always been kind of what people would say, a loner, like by myself, but I'm good everywhere. I'm good with everybody. So when we put these events together, I can invite every group because I'm accepted by multiple groups. I have relationships. And so sometimes, you'll have a room with people that don't get along or don't like each other, but they got love for me. And so they're there for me. And then it puts them in a space to have a memorable moment, a great time amongst their enemies, so to speak, right? And then sometimes God will allow me to say things in those events that will make you think, like, what is my problem with this person? Sometimes you got beef with somebody and don't even really know why. You can't even remember why, and it's really ignorant. And we're stopping so much progress by these little schoolyard beefs and dislikes, and stopping progress because you can't get together and make things happen. And I think that's a great gift that, I've been gifted with, is that I can bring people together even when they don't want to be, because of the relationship they have with me.
Yeah, that is so good that you said that, because about 2.5, 3 weeks ago is when I saw you for the very first time in a long time, because you had an event.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and listen, Justified and I are both in a city in California that's called Victorville. I call it Victoryville.
Okay.
It's a small community, but there's so much that goes on with the in this community. But when we saw each other at your event, which we're going to speak about in just a little bit, one of the things that happened, you were celebrating 2 years of what you call Money Monday.
Yes.
And I didn't know what to expect. I just know that I was going by invitation of someone that told me, a group that I was a part of, let's go to this event. And I said, okay, sure. I knew you were having it. And when I walked in, uh, it was more than I expected. There were so many people there and such diversity of people.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just awesome. But this is the point that I want to make. You just said it'll bring people together who don't even know why they're mad or upset with each other.
Right.
Because after that event, I had a couple, and one of them expressed to me, um, we didn't speak to each other. We didn't want a relationship with each other, but one took the initiative to go over and say, hey, did you hear what he said? Let's squash this beef.
Yeah.
Let's become grown folk. Let's appreciate each other for who they are. Let's network and see what will come out of it. So you are clearly making a difference in the marketplace in what it is you're doing, because people don't understand today that what you have, I may need. What I have, you may need. And when we put separation in between us based on our feelings, it causes each other to suffer. So I want to say thank you for doing that, because whether you know it or not, what you said is effective. There are people who are in rooms together and don't appreciate each other. But if you take the initiative to be the connector like you are, it changes things. So thank you for that. So
And let me add to that. You shared that experience. I know of 3 other examples of meetings that happened after that between people who were apart, who came. And one thing about God, his word does not come back void, right? And I don't ever write scripts or speeches. I'm always led, and I share and I say things. And it's power in that room. It's bigger than just it. It's God's network. That's the community. That's we're building, is people that can operate out of love. They could put hate to the side and let love lead. And I mean, it was I know the beefs in the room. Why? Because I have a relationship with everybody. So you got this person that don't like this person, and I love both of them people, and I will not pick and choose who I love because you don't. I don't pick sides. Like, hey, that's your problem. Ain't got nothing to do with me. And sometimes people would be mad at you because,
yeah,
I don't like them, but you always got them around. I'm like, they ain't did nothing to me.
there you go.
That ain't got nothing to do with me.
That's right.
So that room was filled with a lot of differences and dislikes, because I know both sides of the stories, because, they're sharing. And that's why that commentary was very necessary, because I know when the word goes out, it's going to hit and it's going to stick. And people were moved to settle differences on. I've heard more than one story about that, and not just at the anniversary, but at multiple events I do. I people get together and you make people think nobody's holding anybody accountable for their childish behavior. So it seems that it's okay. But when you got somebody that people listen to, apparently like, man, y'all tripping, like, what is y'all mad about? Like,
yes.
We're holding up progress,
Talk about it. Have a conversation.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people go on and they're upset with each other and not speaking to each other. And then you ask them, what happened? They can't even remember why they're upset or why they're mad with each other. So it's so.
And I deal that with myself. I practice what I preach. I got a personality or a confidence that sometimes is mistaken for arrogance. I don't really have a filter because as I think if so I speak if. So when I think it, I speak it. And sometimes I can rub, people the wrong way, but I mean no harm, right? So I made a post a little while ago saying that, look, if I've done anything or said anything to make you feel anything less than loved and respected, please call me and let's talk about it, because more than likely it's probably a misunderstanding. And I just got over one of those with one of our elected officials. I ain't gonna put my guy on blast, but he was mad at me, but he told others that he was mad at me and never told me. So I reached out. I said, bro, I hear there's an issue and I can't think of what it is that you could possibly be mad at me about, because I have nothing but love and respect for you. And when he told me what it was, I said, bro, that was business for me to protect. It was a thing about a candidate form that I did in 2022. And I didn't make a clear endorsement of either of these candidates, right? And they were like, as much as I've supported you, you got up there and said you don't know who you're gonna vote for. And I said, bro, because as a nonprofit, I can't publicly endorse or pick a side. I'm protecting my business. And then I sent him the screenshot of the rules when it comes to nonprofits and political campaigns. And he was like, oh, I respect that. But you've been mad at me.
Since 2022.
Or 2023, whenever it was, because we was good after that, as far as I know. But that was when we got the chance to communicate was his problem. And it wasn't a problem at all. And he could have said that to me the same day that I said what I said. And be like, bro, what do you mean you don't know who you're going to vote for? And I would have let him know, I know who I'm going to vote for, but I can't tell y'all, not in this public space.
And you don't have to.
I don't have to.
Vote is your own personal choice, and nobody can make you identify who you're voting for if you don't want to. So
yeah, I get it. And it's just like I said, it was somebody that was mad about something that didn't communicate with me.
Yes.
And when we got a chance to communicate, we got a clear understanding. And I've watched this happen with people, because they'll call me and say, hey, Justified, I just had coffee with such and such, and man, we've been not liking each other all this time, and we really got more in common than we thought. Thank you for putting us in the room together. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
yes,
but that's God's power. That's him having his way.
Yes. So we have to be careful about how we I just had someone calling me from Africa. So, but anyway, you had 2 years of celebrating Money Monday. Tell me the roots and the beginnings of Money Monday and how you developed Money Monday.
Money Monday was really it's a catchy name, right?
Yes. But I have something that's called Monday Moves.
I started off at the Cosmos Bar and Grill in Victorville. And I knew Monday was a slow business night. So I'm like, let me get a Monday. They're like, a Monday? I'm like, yeah, let me do Money Monday. And I'm going to bring small business owners, elected officials, nonprofit organizations, because these are all the people that I have built these relationships with. And I know if I invite them, if their schedule allow, they'll show up for me. And so it started as an idea. Cosmos gave me the opportunity to do it. We did it there for the first year. Then me and them had a difference of opinion on some other business that was relative to the situation. Not my Money Monday, but another evening that I did something somewhere else, and it impacted their turnout because everybody came where I was at, and they were butthurt, and so they stripped what they thought they were stripping Money Monday away from me. Well, we're going to end our relationship here. I'm like, you're going to take Money Monday away because I did an event on a Saturday? I'm like, I'm not exclusive to y'all. I can do what I want to do. But sometimes you got to understand you're not being put out. You're being put up.
There you go.
I mean, in less than an hour of that conversation of ending the relationship, I called another relationship and I secured the Whiskey Barrel, and they were more than happy, to let me come there. And so we started, we did the next year there. But a lot of people didn't like the Whiskey Barrel because of ownership, their political views. And I'm telling people, man, that ain't got nothing to do with me. They like, oh, this guy is prejudiced. He does. I'm like, he gave me an opportunity. I'm black. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's because you're making him money. I was like, but I'm making some too. So, but I wanted to do it at a place because some people didn't like the alcohol, as if when they go to Red Lobster or Olive Garden, it's not alcohol. Like, you could come to a building and they sell alcohol and you ain't got to buy nothing. You know what I mean? But that was some people's reservation of not coming. They didn't like the bar. But I chose Bar and Grills because it gave an opportunity for community to be in the same room with the leadership and the organizations and the resources that a lot of people are not invited to the big show. So I wanted to put it in a place to where the regular folks were welcome to be connected with a mayor or a city council person or an organization that had resources. Even if they weren't there for Money Monday, they're in their bar chair and they turn around and they listening. So it's like we went behind enemy lines to bring a good word, and it worked.
Okay.
So
let's take a look at some of the comments and see let's see what we have. Hi, Andrea Wright. I see Melissa on here. Both of you are doing an amazing job for the community. Thank you. We appreciate that. This is so awesome. There are people that are out there that appreciate conversation like this. So Money Monday is where you bring the community together, you bring entrepreneurs together, and you give them opportunity to showcase who they are, what they're doing. And in this political season, I know that there are politicians that come. So you do it once a month, correct?
Yes.
And it's what
it's generally the last Monday of the month. Every now and then I might play with that, like May, I believe it was, that the last Monday was Memorial Day or something like that. So I didn't want to compete with that. So I moved it to the first Monday. But for the most part, it's the last Monday of every month, unless I need to make an adjustment to not interfere with a holiday or something.
Okay. I'm going to pop the flyer up in front of us, and you just talk and invite people to come out to this.
Well, our next Money Monday is August 31st. We're hosting it at the Holiday Inn in Victorville, and it's just another opportunity to experience unity in the community. We got a lot of vendors that's coming out with information and resources, a lot of special guests. We're trying something new called the Unity Challenge, Unity Connection Challenge, to where it'll be similar to speed dating, but it's going to be speed networking, where we set the people up in a space and they rotate and do a 60-second pitch about their business to another business owner, and they go back and then you switch to somebody else. And that way you immediately connect with new businesses and potential partners to collaborate with. So I'm excited about that. You know, it's like speed dating, but speed networking. And I think
That
that's
is,
very
I am
impactful.
so glad you hit on that because I have here Unity Connected Challenge. What is that?
That's
I'm glad.
that's what it
I
is.
love it. I
I
love it. So
challenge you to connect with somebody else
to
and
connect with somebody else, like speed
collaborate.
dating. I love it. That is so awesome because one of the things that I believe is, and I teach people how to pitch. I teach
Okay.
them a 30-second pitch and I teach them a 1-minute pitch
Mhm.
because I believe it's so important for us to be able to tell people who we are in 30 seconds or less.
Right.
And in a
Attention
minute,
spans be short.
it's more of a presentation when you do it in a minute. But so Unity Connection Challenge, that is going to be a feature. The other thing that I noticed that I wanted to talk to you about real quick is you mentioned the vendors. When we were at the last event, you gave the vendors an opportunity to actually stand up, come to the mic, and pitch their their businesses, which is really, really great. And you had actual vendors there that had information, and then you had vendors that actually had product to
Correct.
sell. So that's great also that you allow the diversity of being able to
Mhm.
choose. How much is it normally to participate as a vendor in one of these events?
Usually our information vendor is 75. Our merchandise vendor is 100, but
Okay,
I always give them an early bird window to knock $25 off of that. So if they move within that window of time that I give, it's $50 or $75 to do
that's
that.
awesome.
And then I make everybody marketing flyers to promote, and
Hmm.
we share it through our pages of what vendors, what information is going to be there. And it's really not so much paying for the space, but paying for that marketing value that I bring to it by, you know, when you put the word out early that this person is going to be here, you know, you make them their own personalized flyer with their picture and their business logo. When it's going through the web and people are seeing it, like, oh, Legal Shield is going to be there. I need to go, versus just walking into a room not knowing what's going to be there. I make sure that the community knows what businesses and what resources are going to be present to the best of my ability. I put
And
that
the
out.
exposure is great for those that come because I walked around, I looked at so many things. My mind was just so I was just really, I don't want to use the word impressed. I I was proud. Let me put that word. Because
I
there was
like
a
that
couple of
word.
times years ago I had to beat you over the head with a couple of things. That you, but I realized that you listen and what you've done and how you've grown. I am a proud mama. Let me just put it that way because um, something people do things and it doesn't last because they don't take advice and they don't follow through on things. Yeah, you messed up, but look at the message that you are now presenting. Where I can't wait until the 31st to be there. I chose this one to come for a different reason rather than being a vendor
Mhm.
because the next one I'll probably be a vendor, but this one being at the Holiday Inn Express, I w- I'm coming looking for certain things.
Right.
I'm coming with an open eye, looking because I'm a vision coach, and
Right.
I want to be able to see some things differently because now I know your platform and what to expect. Uh,
Right.
so let's go to this thing. There is you have what happens at the dome on Nasqually. What is that all about as far as networking and that you're a part of?
Big shout out, you know, to Kurt Schultz, who's the owner of the Dome on the Squally, and he made contact with me through social media, Instagram, and I was really like in a dark place, like still moving, but nobody would know the things that, I was dealing with behind, closed doors or whatnot.
Yes.
And, he invited me to the Dome to come meet him. And I'm like, man, I don't feel like going nowhere. But the spirit just go, get up, go. It was like, I couldn't shake it, So I went up and went, and was supposed to be going for a quick tour of the space. And me and that dude sat there for about 3 hours.
Wow.
And I knew it was a God connect, that I was obedient to that voice that told me to go. And he poured so much, like, and this is, I say this very humbly, he recognized in his own words, there's something great about you. There's something different about you. You got the it factor, bro. Like, and this is the first time me and this, man met. And he poured in so much business advice, and, you need to scale up what you're doing. And I could see you doing this, and I could see you being that. And I told him that day, I said, bro, if we never cross paths again, you've already planted a seed in me, and I appreciate you. But I'm coming back. We're going to link. And so after him attending Money Monday a couple of times, he started the Info Hub marketing network group that we're now calling Businesses Partnering. And, these different business Melissas are part of the group. Some of the people I see in the comments are a part of the group, Sherelle. And like I start saying one name, you got to say them all. They be like, why you didn't say my name? You got Melissa, you got Robbie, you got Tasha, Tommy, and it's a group of us that all are entrepreneurs or have businesses, and we're able to brainstorm and,
like a think tank,
something like that. But as Kurt was creating something that it wasn't clear, and a lot of us had our own sidebars, like, where's this going? What is this doing? But it's something, my loyalty to that first interaction of feeling that God got me here, because it was me. And I've told him that, man, there's many days I didn't want to come because I didn't see where it was going, but something kept me coming, as well as some of the others. And now after the Money Monday, it's like just this new fire is sparked up in all of us, and we're being more intentional with what this group is going to be. And he always wanted me to be, the marketing voice, or to, he I can bring people out. Like, why are you people not coming to the group? And I was like, because I'm not going to invite people to something that I don't understand yet,
that you're not clear with. And that's that with vision. Vision is not what you see with your eyes. Vision is what the future plan is for something to manifest.
Where is this going?
Where is it going? And that's why, when people say that two heads are better than one, because he may have had a concept, but it may have taken 5 of y'all for him to really see that concept. So that's really great. And that's the Dome on Nisqually. We are talking about Victorville, California, for those of you that may be seeing this from a different location or different state. My guest this evening is Justified, and he is a promoter. He is an entrepreneur. He is a visionary, and he is making things happen in what we call the high desert. And so
HD,
tonight,
baby.
HD. And so tonight, I am just extremely happy to have him sit and speak with me as my guest this evening on In the Space. Now, remember that in the space, you belong here. So if ever you feel that you may need to come into space and express yourself and speak about whatever topic you may want to, it may be about a book that you've written, it may be about a event that you're going to have, just DM me on Facebook. I am Alicia Ali George, Dr. Alicia Ali George. Just DM me, book your time, and come on the show. We're here every Friday night at 5 p.m. East Pacific Standard Time, and I will be happy to sit down and speak with you the same way I'm speaking with my brother here. I'm going to ask you a few more questions, and then I'm just going to let you say a few things. We talked a bit about the content corner. Tell me what's going to happen with the content corner at, because I am ready to get into that part of it.
Content corner is going to be me bringing my videographer Dave Wilmore out, and we'll have a designated space in the venue for those that want to participate, to be able to come and create content to advertise their business, specifically evolving around their pitch, to film their pitch. If they're a vendor at the event, Dave will capture live footage, of them mingling at their booth. If they're walking around the room, he'll trail them for a little bit, and then he'll turn that footage over to me, and I will create a promo for that particular business, which kind of will kill two birds with one stone, because it will display the marketing that takes place at Money Monday, and it'll highlight this business, giving them an opportunity to shoot their pitch and make clear what it is that they bring to the table. So I'm just trying to grow more interactive, because we're in a new level. New level requires new things, and when I built it, all I really wanted to do was get the people in the room and let God work, right? And the reason that I would give the businesses the opportunity to come, what their name is, what their business is, give them that 90 seconds or whatever, was because you can walk into a room full of people and not know your blessing is sitting across the table from you, because they haven't been able to introduce themselves. So when they get up on that stage and they say, hey, I'm a life insurance agent, it's maybe somebody in that room that, man, I've been thinking about, I need to talk to them. I'll never forget my buddy. He does handiwork, Mr. Fix-It, housework. And I kept telling him, like, man, you got, mayors, that ain't my room. I'm like, bro, everybody needs work done around the house. Come up there, get on the mic, and let them know you're Mr. Handyman. And that dude left out of there with 5 new clients.
Awesome.
I need my garage door fixed. Can you fix my garbage disposal? I'm like, bro, certain businesses are necessity. So, if I try to tell my guy Sarge, he does lawn care, what they call it, landscaping. And I'm like, bro, everybody got a yard. I don't care if they're a doctor, a minister, they got a yard. Come up there and tell them I cut yards.
Yes.
You'll be surprised how many people come up to you and say, how much do you charge? Can you come to my, and so that's my thing. I speak to, when I walk in a room, I'm looking for God's connection. I know every space that I enter, there's something in that room for me. Otherwise I wouldn't be there. So I'm always trying to meet somebody. If I'm in the grocery store and you standing, I'm going to say, hey, how you doing today? God bless you. And if I'm in Staples, if anywhere I'm at, I'm looking for God. I'm looking for something in that room that he has there for me.
For you, because he actually does. Let's go into this, and I got 2 more places, and then we're going to wrap this up.
Yes, ma'am.
When we talked about unity in the community, you all are now doing active in Adelanto. That's a other city over from Victorville.
Yes, ma'am.
Who don't understand the high desert, it's like 4 or 5 different cities. Justified actually live in the city of Adelanto, and I live in Victorville. And the other day we were talking, and he told me about this. I saw it, and then he started to tell me exactly what they do. Active in Adelanto. Tell me a bit about that.
That was a group started by Leslie Tett, amazing lady, big supporter. And I wanted to get my sexy back. And so I seen she started this walking group, and they meet, right up the street from my house. I said, this is an opportunity for me to come and join this group. And just being the type of person I am, and knowing the influence that I have here in the high desert, I wanted to share it. I wanted to help grow it. Like, if I make a post about this, we're going to get, more people. Not saying that it wouldn't happen without it, because she's already done an amazing job of growing it. I just wanted to add, to it. And I know the reach that I have. I know the respect. And so I'm quick to correct people when they say, oh, Justified, I love that group you started. No, I did not start that group. Leslie Tett started that group. I am simply in unity with what she's trying to do. And if I can use my influence to make 200 more people aware of it, then that's, what I want to do. Yeah. And I don't ever want to claim somebody else's idea, but at the end of the day, it's all God's ideas, and he uses people to do these things, and then he puts us together. And sometimes in my past, I just think with all the things that I've done in the high desert, when people see me, they look at me as a creator. They look at me as an innovator. So they automatically assume that this is something that I've pioneered, but it's not. Leslie Tett is completely responsible for this group, and I'm a part of it.
Yeah, give credit where credit is due. But what God tells us that whatever our hands touch shall prosper, and we have to put our hands out so that we can help others to prosper in areas that we know God has assigned us to. So that's where we get into this, where I want to talk a little bit about our faith, our relationship with God.
Amen.
When you first began all that you did, you said you went to the book of Romans, and in that book of Romans, you saw the word justified all the time. We're justified by faith, justified. And so what we have to understand, and we can do nothing without God. This that I'm doing now, I started this 9 years ago in the back of my church, because that building, you remember that building was kind of large, and in the back there was this area, and I just decided that I was going to go and I was going to do this. This is where it started, right here. I just started bringing women in, because that was one of the big part of my ministry, women's ministry. And I sat at that table and I was faithful to that. And it was a season that I stopped when my both parents were really very ill, and I had to move back to the Virgin Islands. But everything that I have done regarding this, it is God. I can do nothing without him. So my relationship with God have grown over the years differently into the space that I am in right now. And I will not come on here and not give him the glory, not give him the honor, not give him the praise, because my relationship with him is I can do nothing without him. So at this point, Justified, how do you, I don't want to say sum up, but how do you constantly keep God involved in everything that you do or say? Because most of the time, most of us get stuck in religion. I am in kingdom. God is a kingdom builder. He's not a religious builder. And so when you are doing what you are called to do, and you are called to do what you're doing, I don't put God on the back burner and then bring him out. I am constantly in my relationship, honoring him, putting him first in whatever it is that I'm called to do. So now in this space, talk to us a little bit about you, your faith, and your relationship with God.
Smokey Norfolk has a line in the song when he says, I know God for myself. You can't tell me nothing. You can't tell me anything about, the God I serve, because I communicate with him, directly. Right. And I always say God's vision is always met by God's provision. If it's his will, it will be done. So I've learned to accept victory, and I've learned to accept disappointment in the same vein that if it was meant to happen, it would have. If it was in his vision for me, it would have. And if it didn't, it wasn't supposed to, right? Mm-hmm. And I know I can look over my whole life, right, and see God's hand. But specifically, I always am drawn to these last 12 years of single fatherhood and unemployment, but being to provide and raise my two daughters without God, none of that. Like, I can't imagine that journey without God. And
Wow.
he was there before that. I have moments before that, but most incredibly, undoubtedly, his hand has been on my life when it comes to raising these girls and keeping me afloat. And I shared the story at the Money Monday about my house, being broken into and having everything that I had saved taken in one. Come home from my daughter's graduation and everything's gone. And my community came together and God gave me back more than I lost. And that, what was sent to break me, broke me through. And now I'm on fire and can't nobody tell me nothing. God is with me. He's for me. And if you against that, you better get out the way, sucker.
Yes. He said he will do exceedingly abundantly above all that you can ask or think. Okay, so as we wrap up, we're gonna play this this game. I'm gonna tell you four things, and you're gonna just give me which one is your preference. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so let's begin. Winter, summer.
Winter.
Okay. That's because you can turn on the heat, huh?
Yeah, and I'm a cuddle buddy. I'm a cuddle buddy when it get cold.
Yes. Okay. Plays or movies? On stage plays or movies?
Movies.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Ooh, that's a surprise for me.
I don't drink tea.
Okay, Domino's or Pizza Hut?
Depend on which one got the sale. I'm gonna go with both on that. Who got the special today?
Okay, if you get dressed up, bow tie or necktie?
Necktie.
Necktie. Well, Justified. Listen, this was so much my pleasure having you here today. Thank you so much for setting up this time with me, coming and sitting here on the show with me. I am just so extremely cannot wait until August 31st to come on out. So just let's pitch this one more time. You all have got to come out on the 31st. Those of you that live in the high desert, to the Hilton Garden Inn on Palmdale Road from 5 to 8 p.m. and join us, hosted by Justified. We're going to have Money Monday. Come on out, support, be a part of it. Invite someone to come along with you. They don't have to be in business, but they may form a business by just coming on out to support.
Or find a resource that they need.
Like the yard guy.
Or life insurance, or somebody that can build their credit, somebody that can help them purchase their first home, somebody that can have resources for their abused friend who's going through domestic stuff. It's all kind of resources and information and people there, and not just the vendors that are set up, but just the people in attendance that are there. They have something great to offer. And I always tell people, look, go talk to somebody you don't know. Don't link up in your little circles. Break outside your circle and meet somebody you've never met, because there may be a blessing attached to that connection. And, you can't get comfortable. That's why I have so many relationships, because I don't get caught up in cliques and crews. I stand on my own, and I get in where I fit in. You know what I mean? And I don't do the clique thing. You know what I mean? So, unless my clique is God's kingdom. That's the only clique I'm riding with, is the kingdom kids. If you're a kingdom kid, we in the same crew. Outside of that, we gonna we're gonna network and see how we can work together. And if we can't, we just won't.
Yes. Well, listen, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of In the Space with my guest this evening, Justified. We had a good, relaxing time just talking and chopping it up. And if you would like to be on the show once again, just go in my DM me, and I will be happy to talk to you and set up a date for you to be here. Listen,
and I would like to send some people your way, sister. I know, that's,
thank you.
like I said, I'm always a handout, not a handout, but a help. Like it's people that need this space with you, and you need people to share this space with you. So if I could direct anybody to you, I know some people that I think really have a story and a testimony that I could connect you with, to come give God glory on this platform, as well as inspire those that listen and watch. So if that's
you.
okay with you,
I'm going to hold you to that. So thank you very much.
I need your permission first. It's already done. I already know who I want to send your way. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I just need your permission and you to welcome that. And I will definitely connect some dots. That's what I do.
Amen. Thank you. Listen, everybody, as my cousin Lorraine always says, have a great day today and a better one tomorrow. And I will see you next Friday at 5
like God's glory is just over us right now.
Standard time. Hallelujah. God is good and God is great. Good night.